Hello guys, welcome to another video. So in this session, we will be talking about how to tackle situational and hypothetical questions in UPSC interview. So see, these are kinds of questions that put you in a real world scenario or a hypothetical situation, and they'll ask you how you are going to handle that situation. It's a very normal question. You can expect at least one or two questions from this side also, the situational question or the hypothetical question. So the panel uses these questions basically to assess your judgment and your decision making skill, your ethical standards, your leadership quality, your capacity to adapt with the team, and your compassion, your integrity. Everything can be actually checked in this, and your ability to stay calm under pressure. So it could be any of these qualities or multiple of these qualities that they will be checking or trying to understand from the situational questions that we are getting. So they want to see how you would respond in such complex situations, which is very essential for a future civil servant. See, from my own experience, I've seen that these questions are some of the most challenging, but also the most revealing in terms of your personality and your approach to public service and your understanding about civil service. And also this will help you to score very good if you can perform, if you can make. See, this is the best question that you can actually get, hypothetical question. Though it's slightly difficult to adapt to the situation, but we will have the framework and everything, the structure I'll give you. If you can follow that structure, any question. See, they are looking for certain qualities from any situational question or any hypothetical question. So if you can fit your answer into that qualities, then things are done. Okay, so that's what we are looking for from this particular area. See, the situational and hypothetical questions are basically designed to simulate real world challenges that you might face as a civil servant. So they will give you different scenarios, like if you're an IPS officer, a riot situation, or if you're a DM and then a flood situation. So this could involve ethical dilemmas. This can have administrative crisis, or it can have leadership challenges. So the panel uses these questions basically to evaluate several key traits. It's all about how you handle the pressure and your decision making process, the various ethical standards that you have, right? So can you remain calm under the situation, and are you composed when faced with such difficult situation? Are you able to handle and manage the team in such kind of situation? Are you a team man or are you a leader? All these will be clearly understood from your answer, and this is what exactly you're trying to prove them, that you have these qualities. So when they see, now they're asking this question not to know your response. They're asking this question to know whether you have these qualities. So what should be your priority? Your priority should be to give an answer for the question, or you want to tell them that I have these qualities. So the answer that you give should reveal the qualities that they are looking for. Okay, so again, your decision-making process, are you taking a thoughtful, balanced approach to solving problems? Again, ethical standards, do you prioritize integrity, fairness in your decision-making, right? These are what they are checking. Even in my interviews also, I have encountered several hypothetical questions that tested not only my knowledge, but also the ability to make decisions under pressure. So here, these questions will be asked to check certain standards, whether you are able to take decision under pressure, whether you are staying calm under pressure, you have that leadership skill, can you understand the importance of the situation, and the ethical standards. These are the things that you need to keep in mind. This is what they're trying to check. For instance, I was once asked how I would handle a situation where public protests were escalating into violence. See, I have given IPS as my preference. So it was a test of how I would balance law and order with the need to address the public grievances. Okay, so I'll be talking about all these in the coming sessions in detail with the structure and the framework and everything. So it won't be a big problem and it will be very easy. There are certain steps that you need to follow. So to tackle any situational questions effectively, be it any question, now you know the demand, right? So based on the demand, you need to create the supply. So they are demanding certain things from you. They're expecting certain things from you. That should be your supply. It's not the answer for that particular question. Any question, they demand certain qualities. That is fixed. So the answer may vary, depends on the situation, but the qualities that you are trying to show them is the same. So if you follow the structure that I'm going to give you, the structured framework, that is going to help you. So first thing that you need to do is you need to clearly understand the situation. Okay, so you need to make them aware that you understood the situation. You can, analyze the situation. That's the most important aspect. The situation which is given to you. Then you need to be in a position to identify all the stakeholders, and then you need to see all the possible options in that situation. You need to weigh the options, which one is best, and then you need to make a balanced decision considering different aspects, including the ethical standards. So let's start with the first one. Understand the situation. See, before answering, take a moment, make sure you are fully understanding, you understood the scenarios. So it's okay to take a moment to process the situation, to understand the situation, to analyze the situation. In fact, this shows that you are a thoughtful person, and you don't rush into decision. That's again a very good quality. You take a moment to think about it, to understand it, to grasp it, to understand the underlying things in that. In fact, this will indirectly show them that you are not a person who rush into matters. You're a thoughtful person, which is again a very good quality, right? And then identify the stakeholders. Think about who is affected in that situation which is given. So, are you dealing with the public, or are you dealing with the government officials, or specific communities, or all of them together? These are the stakeholders. So, understanding the stakeholders again will help you to make a decision that consider everyone's interest. You cannot go with one person. That won't involve fairness, right? So, for fairness, you need to know all the stakeholders. You need to involve or consider all the stakeholders in your decisions. Then various options you have, weigh the options, consider the different courses of actions which are available to you. What are the pros and cons of each of these options, and think critically about the short term and long term impact of each decision. You need to tell short term this is a case, long term this is a case. Short term, maybe the benefit will be very less, but long term this is a bigger benefit, and the benefits will compound to a larger course. Then make a balanced decision. So the best decision is the one, that captures or both ethical and practical. The one which is practical, yes, see, theoretical things, you read the book and everybody can tell. What is practical? What can be implemented? That's the question. And ethics is also in that. Ethical consideration is also very important. So these are the things that you need to consider when you are giving the answer. So you should demonstrate that you are willing to take tough decision, but also have empathy and sense of fairness. Very important. See, guys, these words are very important. Whatever words I'm using, these are what they're looking for, and I'm trying to inject these words into your mind so that you will remember when you answer this kind of questions. Yes, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for leadership quality. They're looking for an answer which is having fairness, ethical standards, integrity, absolute integrity, uncompromisable, kind of integrity. In one of my interview, I was asked how I would handle a communal conflict as a district magistrate. So then I followed the same approach by first assessing the root cause of the conflict. So you understand the problem, identify the problem, and then you identify the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The community leaders, the police, and the public. And then suggesting a balanced approach that combine law enforcement with dialogue and mediation. The panel also appreciated that, and I didn't see here. You're not just focusing on immediate law and order issue, and you're not trying to suppress them, but also address the need for long-term reconciliation. You need to consider all the stakeholders and their demands also. So that means your answer is thoughtful. Your answer involved that ethical standards. Your answer is having that fairness. You are showing that leadership quality. Everything is there. So this is how it need to be done, right? See, again, ethical dilemmas are common, theme in situational questions. Whenever you get a situational question, there will be one or the other ethical dilemma. They are designed to test your integrity and moral judgment and your moral standard. So, see, ethics, there won't be any questions which they are going to ask you without ethical dilemma. Any situational question which is given to you, ethical dilemma will be there. That also you need to identify, you need to understand. The panel want to know, if you will uphold the values of a civil servant, even when faced with such difficult choices and situations. So you'll get questions about corruption from your senior, corruption from your junior, from the same department, political pressure, some MLA is pressurizing you, some senior is pressurizing you, or conflicting values. See, these are meant to see how you navigate these tricky situations. At the same time, you are maintaining your ethical standards. Again, to one of my friend in his interview, he was asked how he will handle a situation where a senior official pressured him to make a decision that he believed was unethical. So here there is a pressure from senior officer. And my friend is considering thinking that this is unethical. So here again, there is an ethical dilemma. You are obliged to follow the orders of the senior officer. So his response was focused on two things. First, ensuring that he will stay true to the principles of honesty and integrity. That's the core. You need to talk about the same. As a civil servant, you cannot compromise on honesty and integrity. That's a core ethical standard that is expected from you in any situation. And the second is finding a way to diplomatically manage the situation without escalating tension. As your senior, so you need to manage the situation diplomatically. So you need to be true to yourself. Your ethical standards need to be maintained, and you need to diplomatically handle the situation with your senior without escalating the tension. And he explained that he will respectfully communicate the concerns to the official, and if necessary, follow the proper channels to address the issue without compromising his ethics. So this is how your answer should be. So when handling ethical questions, it's very important to show that you can balance integrity with diplomacy. So the ethical dilemma will be there. Your integrity should be maintained, and there is no need to escalate tension just because you need to maintain your ethical standards or your principles. You need to handle that also with diplomacy because you're a civil servant. You're working as part of the system. So you need to handle situation diplomatically. Okay, so civil servants are often have to navigate these gray areas, but your response should always prioritize what they are looking for. What they are looking for: fairness, transparency, and rule of law. Commitment to rule of law. Correct. So again, this is. I hope this is very clear. Again, handling crisis situation. See, crisis situations are another type of hypothetical question that you might face in your interview. So ethical dilemma questions you will expect, crisis situation like flood and you are facing some crisis, right? So again, these questions are designed to test your ability to manage high pressure situation where quick thinking and decisions are required. Very much decisive action is required. Very much tough decisions are required. In crisis situation, tough decisions are required. Sometimes goal is more important here than the means. Sometimes. So the panel want to see how you would handle a crisis, how you prioritize the public safety and ensure efficient administration. So crisis situation is a potential, situational question that you can actually expect. In fact, I also got in one of my interview, I was asked how I would manage a flood situation in a district where communication lines were down and the resources were very limited. So to handle this situation, what you can say, I'll give you an example. What I'll tell you. I first identified the immediate priorities, like saving life is very important because public safety is ultimately more important, saving lives and ensuring basic necessities for affected people and restoring communication. These are the priorities. So you identify the priorities, immediate priorities. So, and then what you need to do is you need to outline how you can mobilize available resources, coordinate with the state and national agencies, and ensure that the relief operations were conducted transparently and efficiently. So when see, my point is when dealing with crisis situation, it's very important to focus on quick, practical solution. At the same time, demonstrate that you can remain calm and organized under pressure. So crisis situation, you are the leader. You are the one who need to handle the situation. So you should be calm even under pressure. Then only your team will work, right? So you need quick decision, fast decision, thoughtful decision also. Okay. So, and you need practical solutions because it's a crisis. So the panel is looking for someone who can think on their feet, but also ensure long-term stability. So your answer should be designed in that way. During my second interview, I was asked a tough hypothetical question: how I would handle a situation where there was a severe drought in our district and water resources were almost depleted. So here the panel want to see how I would prioritize resource allocation and manage the crisis here. So now imagine that you are getting this question. How will you structure your response? First, acknowledge the severity of the situation. That means you're understanding the situation. And then you identify the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders here? Farmers, local communities, the government agencies, right? Then you need to propose a multi-pronged approach. Rationing water resources, ensuring that drinking water was the top priority, and working with neighboring districts for additional supplies. So you can also suggest long-term measures like implementing water conservation programs and promoting drought-resistant crops to mitigate the future crisis. So in fact, that's a see, if you can answer this, the panel will appreciate you, and what more you can get. If you get an appreciation from the panel, what more you can get. So see, you are here as per this, you are not just focusing on immediate relief, but also you are thinking about the sustainable solution for the future, right? We are talking about rainwater harvesting or water conservation program and drought resistant crops to mitigate the future crisis. So you are thinking about future and a sustainable future also. So that's what I told you. You need to balance the short term crisis management on one side. At the same time, you need a long term planning. So, in your answer, both should be reflected. So, if you see the answer that I have given, I've told immediately what you can do. You can go for rationing water resources, drinking water supply should be the priority, coordinate with the neighboring district for additional supplies, and everything for immediate requirement. Then long term, water conservation programs and the drought resistant crops to mitigate the future crisis. So short term and long term. Okay. So see what I want to tell you. Let's conclude the session. Situational and hypothetical questions are the test of your judgment, your thoughtful decision making abilities, your ethical standards, your leadership qualities, and many things will be tested here. So, what you can do is you may stuck with a question, but that structured approach that I have given to you, if you follow that, you are not going to miss out the qualities that they are looking for from your side. You're understanding the situation, identifying the stakeholders, you're weighing the options, thinking about the pros and cons, and making a balanced decision where ethics and everything is coming into priority. You can tackle these questions with confidence if you follow this. Always prioritize absolute integrity, fairness, and public safety when dealing with ethical dilemmas or crisis situation. So what you need to do now, you need to practice these questions in your mock interviews. You can have one-to-one session with me. You can have mock interviews. You yourself can take a question, record that in the phone, and then you see how you respond and everything. So practice makes it perfect. Okay, you are not going to give an answer on the spot. You are going to give an answer which is very well prepared. So that's about the session. Thank you so much. See you in the next video, guys.